Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Dr. Shakir.
Terima kasih Tuan Haji. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, selamat datang ke My FB Live hari ini bersama dengan Tuan Haji Wahab Bakar, seorang terkenal, itu a former big man in Nestle at one time. So welcome Tuan Haji. Apa khabar Tuan Haji?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Okey, sekarang ni kita bersama dengan Tuan Haji dan kita akan sembang dan kita mendengar sikit nasihat dan juga pengalaman yang akan di-share bersama dengan Tuan Haji. Seorang yang penuh dengan pengalaman. Jadi di sinilah tuan-tuan dan puan kita berkesempatan berjumpa dengan orang yang lama dan matang dalam bidang industri ni. Kita bersama dengan the right person in the right industry players. Tuan Haji ni orang berpengalaman. Dia juga terkenal sebagai seorang chief dalam HR. Dia bagi tuan-tuan yang dalam ni semua tentu mengenali dia. Okey. Jadi saya mengucapkan selamat datang pada sahabat-sahabat yang dapat masuk. Please share this video. Nanti saya akan masuk dalam YouTube. Please share, mungkin sahabat-sahabat kita ni ada tak kesempatan, mungkin ada masuk lambat. Jadi sekiranya kalau tuan-tuan share, insya-Allah ramai lagi akan ikut dan mungkin kita akan sembang hari ini. Sejauh mana kita bincang tertakluk sekiranya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sendiri banyak soalan nak tanya kat kita punya orang lama ni yang penuh dengan pengalaman. Jadi saya ucapkan syabaslah yang mana dapat masuk dan mungkin sekarang ni mula masuk dan sekarang ni masih ada yang kerja di rumah, ada di pejabat dan sebagainya. Mungkin sahabat kita dalam perjalanan membawa kereta sedang mendengar. Tapi mendengar, jangan melihat. Okey. Jadi saya ingat sampai kita kenalkan Tuan Haji kita. Sila Tuan Haji. Perkenalkan Tuan Haji, saya bagi kata Tuan nasihat sikit Tuan Haji sebelum kita mula. Kita perkenalkan Tuan Haji Cik Wahab Abu Bakar.
Nasihat ni apa nasihat dari segi apa, Doktor? Saya dah hampir 10 tahun bersara daripada active corporate service. When I say active corporate service ni, because when you retire, in actual fact you don't fully retire. You retire only from the working in the corporate life. But you will continue to get yourself engaged, occupied through the various platforms, either through providing some coaching, some mentoring, as well as some advice to those who needed that. So that is the way I keep myself occupied. Besides, at times I've got to attend some of the board meeting and audit committee meeting. So these are a small contribution that I continue to give to the people because I'm very passionate about talent development.
Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih Tuan Haji. Dengar tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, 3 benda very big issue yang ditimbulkan Tuan Haji kita. Pertama, pengalaman dia. Kedua, walaupun pencen, nama pencen, tetapi tugas tetap jalan sebab ada permintaan. Itu yang terdapat yang kita boleh dapat sini, knowledge sharing, knowledge acquisition, knowledge development, dan berbagai-bagai ada di sini. Jadi betul-betullah kita bersama dengan orang lama dan berpengalaman. Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sinilah peluangnya kalau tuan-tuan nak bertanya sebab Tuan Haji boleh jawab. Jadi kita sama-sama sharing. Dan Tuan Haji ada cakap walaupun dia dah pencen, officially pencen tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, tapi servis dia tetap jalan dan dia minat, very passionate. Perkataan passionate itu menyebabkan saya terpanggil nak tanya satu soalan kat Tuan Haji.
Yes.
Sekarang ni Tuan Haji, walaupun Tuan Haji pencen, tapi gayanya macam tak pencen. Kadang-kadang dia orang kata, orang pencen lebih sibuk sebelum pencen lagi. Betul Tuan Haji?
Yes and no, depending. Orang yang pencen, dia ada pencen. Macam saya bersara tak ada pencen.
Betul. Jadi Tuan Haji kata, Tuan Haji dah lama pencen. Walaupun Tuan Haji dah lama pencen, tentu Tuan Haji juga follow up certain perkembangan, terutama dalam COVID time. Kalau tuan-tuan tengok di dalam industri kita ni, Tuan Haji pun pernah lalui dalam industri ni. Walaupun dia orang kata tiap satu cabaran, challenge, there is an opening for new opportunities. Right? So, by looking through that, any possible opportunity that you can share, just sharing, semang-semang, so that gives some positive impact to whoever are now watching our discussion here today.
I think when you are referring to the current pandemic situation, COVID-19, a lot had been said about the new normal. So the question, the challenge that we have right now could also be an opportunity. The opportunity for us to embrace the change of the new normal. Those were the days jarang-jarang kita online. Dari segi either working from home or having meeting online. But now that becomes already part and parcel of our life. I think the most important thing bagi kita semua di dalam menghadapi cabaran ini, we need to open our mind. We need to seize whatever the opportunities, and the learning is always open. People who are successful are those that would be able to look at the challenges as an opportunity for them to learn and to contribute. Kalau kita, if we are so scared of having to enter into the new era, we can never improve ourselves. So having an open mind, having to seize the opportunity is a key thing right now. Yeah, because this pandemic is not going to go over in the next 1 to 2 months. It's going to be for sometimes, even with the what they call it, dia punya apa dia bagi tu yang dia nak inject the vaccine tu. Yeah, even with the vaccine, it is not just a question of you getting a vaccine and tomorrow you're okay. There's the whole situation. I give you an example. The airline industry, the cruise industry, the tourism, they are badly hit because of current situation. But some of them, I have seen cases where I have met people who used to be a pilot, captain in the airlines. Instead of having to continue feel sad because they can no longer fly and work, they have opened up a business. I got one person who comes and sent to me the drinks that he has done, and I asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "Well, I want to continue living. I want to seize the opportunity. I want to do things which is different instead of having to feel unnecessarily sad and depressed."
Yes.
So these are the things, Tuan.
Yeah, terima kasih Tuan Haji. So it seems that from what you said, this is a time, sometimes there's some opening for those who are looking for opportunities. And for these people keep on doing it in terms of what we call it growth mindset, they are looking for opportunities. And you did mention, even though there is this some area that is quite hard, there are certain areas is improving a lot, especially on the cargo side, on transportation and whatnot. It seems that the demand is very great for them. So of course there will be some linkages in terms of what you call it, dia punya urutan sampingan daripada jenis perniagaan yang boleh berkembang. Mungkin ada macam dalam gig ekonomi ni, semua sizes of business mesti will grow up to replace the bigger one. So there are a lot of unscaling happening in the industry. By looking through that, as you said, as long as you want to do something positively, there is always opportunity.
Right.
Soalan dia sekarang ni, are we willing to forgo our ever experience that we have before and accommodate what is yet to come, and with the current position, we allow us to take up the opportunity. So soalannya terletak pada individu. Kalau lah keadaan macam tu, individu tu macam mana patut mereka melayan diri dia orang. Jadi mereka dapat mengikuti perkembangan Tuan Haji tadi supaya mereka boleh ambil peluang. Mungkin wujud di samping tanpa dia orang sedari, berada di hadapan muka dia orang. Jadi macam mana Tuan Haji boleh kembangkan sikit maklumat yang Tuan Haji sebut tadi tu?
We don't forgo our past experience.
Yes.
We leverage on our past experience and venture into the new era. So that is the thing. It's a question of we must have flexibility. I like the word that you use, the growth mindset. A person with a growth mindset always look at what can I do better, how could I contribute differently.
Yeah.
So these are it's entirely up to the individual. Of course, there will be a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Kalau tak ada challenge, jadi dia punya asam garam tu tak ada, kita makan pun tak sedap.
Yeah. Betul. Yeah, right. So that means Tuan Haji cakap tadi, pengalaman yang dia orang ada tu is also an asset. They can leverage to develop further and venture into new area.
Right.
That is a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pengalaman yang dia orang ada, the network yang dia orang dah ada. Sometimes some people, they never realize that they have created a network.
Yeah.
So this is where that you'll be able to tap on your network, leverage on your experience, and look at the current situation. How could I make it much better?
Yeah. So that means to say, do they need some additional, what I call additional tool? Maybe they new way of thinking because they are using a lot of automation now. You have algorithm, you got AI. Now we are coming for IR 4.0, 4.1 something. So how is it can really help them to grow within this new era that coming out, the so-called the social era?
This is in the social or digital era. This is the time for us to really tap on it. Kita learn. Jangan kita takut. I think number one, never ever put yourself into a scary situation. Look at the eye. This is my opportunity for me to learn. You can learn it everywhere. You learn it on YouTube. You learn it through people. Once you start learning, you're beginning to, as what you have said earlier, we are in the gig economy. Okay. The difference here is that we are in the gig economy. The digital economy getting faster because of the COVID. Kalau sekian tak ada COVID, kita cakap banyak tentang gig economy, but our moving into that by using whatever the social media is not going to be as accelerated than what we are doing right now. So these are the situation for us to capture that. Never ever scared, shy in asking people. Number one. Number two, always look up for what are the new things that I could learn.
Yes.
Number three, the most important thing is that I like to again to use the word of growth mindset. Every time ask ourselves, what can I do better? I have retired for almost 10 years. But every morning when I wake up, I always ask myself, what can I do better as compared to what I have done yesterday? So having this Kaizen mentality of improving ourselves is one of the most important ingredients for us to move ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I could hear you very loudly. You mentioned one thing, that is by having this growth mindset will help us to go out of our comfort zone. Because Tuan Haji kata, you must jangan malu bertanya orang. That's why at this generation, in this era, they say there is no answer. When there is no answer, what you have are questions. Because question will allow you to think everything. So you have to monitor. As owner of the organization, we monitor in the sense that how to manage change. We are not being absorbed into the change. So how to manage change, we need 110 focus toward our business. Through that example, Tuan Haji, any area that Tuan Haji rasa how these people can be helpful. Maybe some organization big, some small, right? From these two, there's no difference. In fact, the focus is still there because you have more 80 over 85 over 1,000 hours for the whole year. What we need is 1%. It's about 88 hours or equivalent to 2 hours per week just to focus what need for us to improve. From looking from there, so in this new generation, what we need now is to spend more time toward managing the people, the human growth. That's why they say capital is equal to human development. So when the capital of the human capital is developed, the chances the company will grow. From that point, because you have been in the HR, in the talent management, how will you pull up and share this opinion so that the rest can listen to your part?
When we talk about human capital, we're talking about talent development. One of the things that we must be very, very clear in our mind, it is not just an HR function. The HR only facilitate the talent management. The owner of the talent management are those who are actually managing the business.
Yes.
Okay? It's not just having to surrender your talent management responsibility to HR. You have got to work together with the HR. That is why I always say is that whilst CFO is a co-pilot of the organization, HR is a co-developer of the organization. You develop the talent along with the people who owns the talent. HR, again, I would like to say here, facilitate the change, facilitate the development. I was talking to one particular organization in which I'm giving some for my advice to them. And my advice to all the line managers, the CEO or the CEO of the organization, I say that you cannot surrender your responsibility in developing the talent. In having to achieve the result, in having to achieve the organization objective, you need people. It's not just result coming just like that. The people that you need to be agile in terms of their learning. People that you need to be passionate in terms of having to contribute. No, it's not just having to provide them the technical and the hard skills, but also the mindset of the people. This is where the difference between a value-based leadership and just the task leadership. The value-based leadership are those that will be able to have value creation to the organization, value creation in terms of not only 1 ringgit financially, but also value creation in terms of the people that they have developed. Now, if you have got the leader who can inspire people, then you have got the group of talent that are willing to do things instead of have to do things. I think you are very much aware of what is happening right now in the organization. We have been talking about talent development, I think dah berpuluh-puluh tahun dah.
Yeah.
And we continue to talk about the same things, but do we really make a difference in what we are moving ahead?
Yes, thank you. So let me pull out one area you are saying, the agility, right? So we need to have emotional agility, being able to keep yourself distant with the issue, and a person must be in control. And when we talk about talent management, we are talking about the movement of human development in terms of adult development. Being able to separate ourselves with the issue, being able to separate ourselves with the one that we are monitoring so that we are not being absorbed into the issue. When you're outside of the issue, you can monitor, but if you're inside the issue, we cannot monitor. So in talent management, if they haven't having the ability to have this maturity in terms of social emotional maturity, being able, what you call, certain work in and above our head, it's beyond our capability. That's why we need all the time learn, unlearn, and relearn. There are many ways of learning coming up, many ideas of doing things. There are things better than coaching is coming up. There are many other disciplines is coming up, developing very fast. One of them, they say DDO, deliberately developmental organization, whereby the organization purposely allow the officer to take their time to complete the work, the task at anywhere, any place, as long as you get things done according to the timeline and you improve the performance. So this kind of practice has been introduced overseas, and I think soon it's coming to Malaysia. So like Google is using it, many other organizations are using it. From that point, from that note, Tuan, how this talent management can take advantage or leverage on the facilities that being provided in certain area for improvement, especially for our human capital. How do you look at it?
See, when you talked about just now in the current situations, contract employment is no longer being present. You
Yes.
can be anywhere as long as the outcome is there, the result is there. This is the situation that I have seen really, the reality right now. There are some organizations whose leaders are still stuck in the old way of doing things. Even under the COVID situation, they still insist the people to come to the office. See, this is a time that provides us the opportunity to really look at how could your talent, wherever they are, can contribute, even though they are not present in the office, as long as the outcome is there.
Yeah.
So this is not only for the people, but also for the leaders of the people to provide the opportunity. I have heard a lot. People are saying that, oh, our office still the same, sama saja. Bila COVID habis semua pergi lari pergi office. No, this is the thing as a leader you should be looking at. Hey, we have gone through this COVID, whether the COVID is going to be over or not. Let us look at the new way of working. The new way of working in terms of how do we empower the people? How do we provide the trust to the people? How do we inspire the people? How do we put the passion in the people in whatever they're doing. I think a lot of people, they go to work because they have to work. Okay, but whether or not they are working willingly or they have to work because they have got no other choice. Kalau sekiranya kita gunakan dari segi a person is looking forward to go to work in order to contribute because you have given them certain freedom. But in order to give the freedom, you must have a trust. The trust has got to be earned. So these are the various variables that we're going to look at. Doctor, it's not just the people, it is the leaders that is very important.
Yeah.
Kalau
Because
leaders have not changed, even how good people that you're going to have is not going to be changed.
yeah, that's right. Sometimes we as a coach, sometimes we as a leader is a person who leads their people. They are not bosses, they are leaders. That means they lead their people. So from that aspect, I remember at one time when people go to work, they're hoping somebody to give them the work. Nowadays, what they expect, a person that is work to provide something, give the ideas to develop. That's why we need more people to be entrepreneurs. From that note, Tuan Haji, how do this to allow more entrepreneurs coming in and try to do a new thing? Because entrepreneurs, customer and entrepreneurs now, sometimes they can work together, bridging, because sometimes our client can become our co-creator for our product. So indirectly, the opportunity to be a real entrepreneur in the sense that entrepreneur, they are creating employment. They are creating a lot of opportunity for themselves and for others to grow. So through this aspect, what area you nampak is openly, right? So that more youngsters should take up, be in entrepreneur side, become a real entrepreneur.
The understanding of entrepreneur of before and the understanding of entrepreneur of now and moving forward is different.
Right.
The first thing comes to people's mind is entrepreneur, we open up a business. A business comes in many forms. Now, take for example in the gig economy. In the gig economy, you will have a gig employee whose contract employment does not only confine to one employer. Now, as far as the gig employee is concerned, they can provide the various contribution. As long as they are able to provide contribution to A, they can also do it to B and C. So in that manner, even though they are seen to be gig employees, but they have got the entrepreneurial mindset to that. Now, how can they add value? Because the demand for them will base on how the value that they are giving to the various companies that they attach themselves to. So it's no longer just having like gig economy, one employee work for one employer. I think it will come to a situation where you will have an employee who, whether you want to call it an employee or whatever it is, but these are the people who will contribute to various employers as long as they're able to contribute and add value to that particular organization. So the understanding of the entrepreneur has got to be much more in the broader concept. To me, an entrepreneur is a person who are able to value add to whatever that they are doing. They look at from that particular perspective so that they be able to contribute much more effectively.
Okay, Tuan Haji. Sekarang ni in terms of the banyak orang ada entrepreneurs, right? And this can be, especially there are, actually to run an organization, sometimes we need the energy. And how to divide our time so that we have enough time to take care of the business as a whole. Now at this moment of time, they are talking about in terms of new SOP. So of course, with this new SOP also, there are also maybe hidden opportunities that is available. But the only thing is how to find a way so that these people can see the opportunity. For example, transportation, right? For beli ringkan, nasi, shopping, we don't have to go now. And then lately they say they encourage no more bayaran dengan cash, right? Semua bayar pakai
cashless.
Yeah, they are cashless, alright. Kalau ikut kita ni cashless, memang kita lama dah cashless, kita memang duit tak ada. Now cashless, people are very rich, right? They are cashless term, tapi they have a lot of money, reservoir money. So now the question would be, how that means at least the minimum entry for any business, they must have this ability to make use of this cashless position as a way to do business. And number two, they're able to use whatever facilities is available, especially by having internet, pakai algorithm dan sebagainya. For example, lately, maybe I'm wrong, Tuan Haji boleh advise saya. Even Facebook, I see algorithm tukar dia punya momentum dah. Kalau usually I could easily follow apa perkembangan you, but I didn't receive. It seems that they're changing their punya algorithm. So at least minimum they send to about 25 people, right? So now, if a person tengok you, like dia tak cukup, dia kena comment sikit. Bila comment sikit, of course yours will be the priority. So there is a way also for those who are doing business internet, they have to really understand how Facebook works, and then how what I call YouTube works. YouTube, they create a lot, that's called it creators. They don't call entrepreneur, they say creators. So from this happening now, how would you encourage the youngsters to get involved in business, especially entrepreneurs?
This is where we call that we need a person with an agile mindset and willingness as well. Let me give you examples. I have a friend. His business, prior to all this COVID-19, very much focused on having more on IT base and providing his services to the government, to the respective agencies in the visa business. Okay, but what happened? What he has with him and his team is the IT skills. Yeah. So with this coming COVID-19, one of the opportunity that he's seen is that people are not going out. People would rather stay at home and then get things to be delivered. So he has created a framework. He has created dia punya platform whereby he links it to the respective stores, and then people will order through him, and then he will get all the thing and get it done. So you just imagine he has got his IT skills, but instead of using the IT skill what he used before, he's using the IT skill in creating the new platform in order to reap the benefit of the current situation. There is one. Another friend of mine who is very successful in doing travel agencies, inbound and outbound. Boom, this COVID-19 comes in. It comes to zero. So what he did, so because he has developed the context of his client already whenever he's doing the travel agency, he opened up a business, and business is he approached the manufacturer and he has got the product. He goes back to his contact of his client base, and then start having to sell pillow lah, cadar lah, itulah ini. You can see that how you make use of the situation, how you leverage on whatever you have, the network that you have, the contact that you have, the skill that you have, adapt that into the new environment in order for you to do the business. That is the key thing. These are the two good examples that I can give, because these are the people who actually I know personally, and who call me to say that what are they going to do, and then they have done something which is very successful. From tourism industry, having to do selling all this bantal, cadar or sort of thing online, yeah. And then the other one is that from the IT industry, using the platform and look at what are the relevant things of the platform nowadays and start having to do the delivery of things.
Alhamdulillah, Tuan Haji, that's, I think, that's the thing now, especially in this gig economy. As long as a person can see things, see the way that is leveraging with the knowledge that you have. Number two, having the ability to connect with the people, networking. And number four, know where to direct what we have so that he knows where to sell his product, where to go and where to meet. What he needs is being able to use the platform. You can choose what platform they want. Whatever you want to use, Facebook, Google, apa saja. But these people have some basic knowledge. From what you said to me just now, I mean to say that a person must be having this agility
Yep.
Emotional agility, being able to see things clearly without looking at the problem. Because when he see things clearly like that, the problem will go away. The bigger we see the opportunity, as if you open up the big jar that is closing our brain that we cannot see. But that one happening inside ourselves. So what we need is somebody can quickly talk to you, pull out the potential that you have. That's why at this moment of time, there are people need the real coach services to help these people, especially the owner, the business owner. What can you advise to the business owner, Tuan Haji? There are a lot of CEOs who are looking for good coaches. Can you share, Tuan Haji, from your perspective?
Business owner in which particular perspective?
Certain organization now, mid-size and what, they need also coaches to help them because they're brilliant. But sometimes I myself need somebody to help me to pull out the strength within me that is unknown to me. So anything that you can see, the services of this coach really in need now.
You see, the services of coaches and mentoring, I use these two things.
Yes, coaches and mentoring, yes, both.
And mentoring, because this comes in at the right time. Now, why coach is very important? Because coach will be able to open up the mind of the people. They are not coming here to provide you a solution, but they open up the mind of the coachee to see things from different perspectives.
Yeah.
They'll be able to lead you to something that you do not see. In actual fact, it is already inside you. You know best about yourself. But sometimes kita ni jadi ada blinkers, tak nampak. So you need coach to come in to open up your mind, to show you, to make you think of the various possibilities. So that is the key thing for that. This is one part, the coach. The other one, I said, the mentor. The mentor are somebody who will be able to provide you the advice, who will be able to download you the experience that he has, so that you'll be able to utilize it. The combination of these two is very, very powerful. This is the time for us to make use of these particular services, the mentor as well as the coach. Now, I've touched on this particular issue when I was talking to a group of people. I said to them, every one of us certainly have the role model, right? No, we only say that we have the role model, but we never tap on the services of the role model. Your role model could be somebody that can mentor you as well. So these are the various possibilities for us to do that. Yep.
Ya, Tuan Haji. Thank you. That's why kita pun saya selalu buat coaching dan mentoring. Coaching dan mentoring tak boleh dipisahkan umpama lagu daerah Allah. Jika dipisahkan maka kuliah dah layu dah dia. Sebab for the youngster, we need to mentor them first. They are sometimes zero base. They need some knowledge. But walaupun zero base, they are very creative. They have the creativity. We want them to develop, to grow their creativity by giving them some input. After they are very well versed, then they're looking forward for the coach to coach them. They're looking for mentor to coach them. Because coaching dan mentoring tak dapat berpisahkan. Jadi yang kedua, Tuan Haji, there is a question come up now in the Facebook, Tuan Haji. I'm going to read to you, Tuan Haji. Soalan ditanya oleh Coach Samsul Adlan. Dia tanya, how does the big organization adapt in terms of agility toward continuous changing market?
Well, Samsul asked this question. I saw that. How does the big organization adapt in terms of agility towards continuous market? The organization could adapt that through the agile mindset of their leaders within the organization. When we talk about the organization can make the difference through the leaders. Organization by itself is an entity, but what makes the entity having the value are the people that is managing it. So how to go about to do this? The mindset of the leaders within this organization, be it big, be it small, has got to see possibilities, has got to have an open mind. Now, this is what I always say, and I'm very critical sometimes when I look at. There are some leaders because of their success, and their success through creating new businesses, has come to reach to the level of they become very arrogant.
Oh.
No, I mean I don't censor the words I'm going to use. I think the arrogance of any leaders, for that matter, is the one that is going to kill the organization. Because if the people that are going to look up with full respect and trust to the leaders, and the leaders is open in terms of the mindset, agile mindset, and the whole organization is going to be very successful. Always remember, as I said just now, organization is just an entity. What makes the organization different is the people within the organization. What makes the people different is the leaders within the organization.
Yes, thank you.
What makes the leaders different is the agility of them to have a good mindset, inspire the people, creating value to the business.
Okay. So, is it okay? Are you clear, Cik Samsul? Yeah, give some feedback, anything. But there are things that I'm trying to get something from Tuan Haji now, Tuan Haji. Because now, at this moment of time, the idea is how to help this organization to sustain. At this moment, not so much of making money, to sustain and to survive in this area. So if they take advantage, like say, open up their mind, tak boleh sombong dan sebagainya, keep on learning from each other, need help, find anybody that can help them. Mean to say, the networking is there. Because now it is, we are not only get to know, not only to know between our group, but we must know, we want that the open market to know us rather than we go into specific market. If they were able to do that, what are certain characteristics, what certain element that they have to be clear of first before they can really put that into practice into the organization.
I think the element of what you're referring to, the leaders.
Yes.
What the leaders should have.
Yes.
But what the leaders should have. This is why I am a firm believer of a leader with humility, a leader with decisiveness, a leader with vision, a leader with an ability to take action, and most importantly, a leader who's able to inspire others. Because sometimes the idea may not come from the leader. The idea may come from the group of the people in that organization. Now, the group in the organization will not be able to suggest, to contribute, to open their mind if they're so scared of the leader. If they see the leader is somebody who can inspire them and appreciate whatever the contribution, that leader will be able to have more suggestions coming in. Because sometimes it's not just us who make the difference. As the people who work with it that makes the difference.
So from that point, it depends on your ability to communicate effectively. Because one of the quality of leader is being able to fully engage with their people. In order to make them fully engaged with the leader, that is another question. Because if they're fully engaged, they know they are the person that really worried before anything, because they know they have to work together between the employer and employee at this moment of time, as you said now. Because the bigger company now slightly becomes smaller and smaller, it means that we are operating leaders among the leaders. I mean, one organization develop another person to become entrepreneur, and this entrepreneur also become a leader. Like Steve Jobs, right? He was formerly with another with the organization, he been fired and then he come back again. So that kind of maturity in handling the situation in the open market that really needs. So if we were to train our people to be in that way, what else that they need to do so that they keep on doing, take things and develop things so that they can capture the bigger market?
I think we are coming to more, what does it take, a leader,
yes,
or the people to do it?
What does it take, the leader, so that they can work together with the people that can bring in new idea, equally important to develop their own organization.
Okay, let me just share with you one of the thing that I did in my talks to a group of postgraduate students recently, and the subject is more on the leadership. And I told them that for the recipe for the organization to be very successful, they must have the leader with Vigra. Did you Vigra? I'm not talking. I'm not talking about the blue pill.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Viagra, that a person who has got the vision, a
Yes.
person who are able to inspire, a person who are able to articulate. I think you have used the word articulate.
Yes.
A person who has got the guts, a person who are very resourceful, and a person who are adaptable. If the leader have got this Viagra as a recipe, minimum recipe, then they will be able to do that. Because a vision is not just something that have got to be in their mind. A vision is something that they be able to share. Sharing a shared vision is one of the most important concepts under courses and post challenge leadership. Okay?
Yes.
And then be able to inspire people. How do they inspire the people? Then people will be will be able to willingly follow them instead of having to have to follow them. So I use this very simple concept of Viagra. When I talk of Viagra, everybody open their eyes. They thought it is the pills, but in actual fact, it is the recipe for a success.
Yeah.
And the other thing, which is to me very important, is I call it the 5 T's for the leader to have. The leader must have and show humility. They must have and show honesty. They must have and show authenticity. They must have and show empathy. And they must have and show integrity. I use the word to have and show. Because if you have, you don't show, people do not know.
Right.
But if you show, you don't have, people will look at differently.
Yeah.
So a person has got to be themselves.
Yes.
This is something that I think many other things that we can put in for them to do. But let's go back to the basic.
Right.
Now we've got a lot of leaders who are capable, but the key thing that is missing now is the integrity. We must be able to have professional integrity. We must be able to do things not only for ourselves, but it is for the organization, for the people, for the nation.
All right. So now, more or less, we have covered a lot important areas in leadership and in entrepreneur, and especially when you mentioned just now, you give a talk to a new is it a postgraduate or postgraduate?
These are mature students.
All right, mature student. And then indirectly, those that you mentioned just now are applicable to a seasoned entrepreneur. They're applicable to a seasoned entrepreneur, because sometimes we have to unlearn, relearn. The question to relearn, that is quite painful, unless you can let go of certain things. To unlearn first, and then we can relearn. And that's why I come to this question being asked by Samsul again. How does the leaders articulate the organizational vision effectively to all organization members? Yes, you did mention that. That's why I asked you further on this. You did mention on this, on certain things you did touch. But for you to go and further, especially now, there are many kind of leaders, all right? And there are the leaders who can really get things done. One of the way for business to be successful, a leader must have the MIS models. MIS model, make it happen, right? To make it happen. So same thing here. How to the organization vision effectively that means how to make this vision is really effective and really helpful, because the vision and the objective within you that you have is one of the biggest internal motivator to keep on improving, doing something endlessly. So from that note, how will you go about and expanding the idea here?
You talk about vision. Vision in most organizations that I've seen, not all, most organizations, the vision is as good as what it is displayed on the wall. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, because on the wall is just to remind them. But more importantly, it's not just to leave the vision on the wall. It's how to translate the vision to be not only the organizational vision, but also the vision of the people who's going to contribute towards that. So in order to do that, you must be able to articulate the vision. To articulate the vision, having them to see what would be your desired state of the organization going to be. You must visualize for people to see what would be the desired state of the organization that your vision is going to bring them.
Yeah.
Then when people could see, kalau sekiranya all of us were to be together to contribute, this is how our organization is going to look like. Number one, right or not?
Yes.
Number two, by doing so, by articulating that, you must be able to get their buy-in.
Yeah.
It is very important to have their their enrollment, they call it. Yep.
Yeah.
Then of course, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I recall, small people like me, right? I'm not very popular in Malaysia. I'm not very successful, but we are just sharing. But for example, I have the opportunity to coach, to train people overseas. Alright, saya orang Melayu. Banyak orang tak percaya kata orang Melayu boleh. Tapi I have got the opportunity to train people overseas, especially coaching. And these coaches asking for my services, they are professional coaches. They have a minimum of 1,000 coaching hours recorded. They are certified coaches. My question is, what made them decided to call me to train them? So there are things hidden for us. That's why sometimes you need foreigners to show you what you have rather than our own people. Is that the way they're working, or should be differently? We should know what our people can do to our help. So what from this end, what would you say, Taji?
Well, what you're saying is what is actually happening right now. It's not only in terms of the coaching ability. If you go to some of the organization, okay, you have a lot of organization in JLCs. It could also be any other organization. Sometimes they would rather go and find people or from overseas to provide the services. Instead of having to leverage on the able talent that you have within the country. This is when I asked one particular CEO of the organization, hey, why you go and pay so much of money for the resources coming from BCG? I thought, these are the people, what they are great is just having the template.
Yeah.
The template. But the actual knowledge, anybody can do that. Do you know what was the answer given to me? Wah, kalau kita ambil orang daripada famous, daripada overseas, kalau salah kita boleh salahkan dia apa? Kalau kita ambil orang local, kalau tadi kita ada yang salah.
Oh, gitu.
This is the reality. I don't know whether people have said it out. I'm going to say it out. That is really happening. So coming back to your question just now, what perhaps our people should do is to show that we have got the ability. Having to show that, you must not only showing that we have got the ability, you must also create a network for the network to know that you have got the ability to do that. And for those who are buying into that particular services, to have the mindset that it's not only the Mak Saleh is good. I have worked overseas. Yeah, I am a believer. In order to expose the person in terms of their mindset as well as their experience, is you send them out. They work in other countries. They work at the international level. Then whenever they come back, when they look at people, especially the Mak Saleh, they can look at the person at the eye level instead of having to look up all the time. Provide them the opportunity. Provide them the experience, and they be able. We have got a lot of good talents in Malaysia. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. So Taji, how long already kita cakap? Kalau Taji check tadi ada record Taji. How long already this?
Tadi 12:15 kan?
Yeah.
Dia about 1 hour lah.
1 hour. Is it about 1 hour? Okay, now. Terima kasih Encik Syamsul yang bertanya. Kepada lain sahabat yang tanya, sila tanya. Ni bukan senang nak dapat Tuan Haji ni. It take me almost 3 years nak dapat dia cakap ni. Bukan senang nak dapat. He's very busy. Walaupun dia pension, very busy pension. Tak apa. Because people need him. Alright, people are searching for him. So, Encik Syamsul, if you have any more question, can you write in? Because we are going to stop anytime now. Because I think, thank you very much pada Tuan Haji. Thank you for this opportunity. Just Haji, before we leave, from this short discussion that we have today, as an experienced person in corporate worlds and in the social services world, giving opportunity, I'm also give free. Sometimes I give a lot of free coaching, a lot of things that I given, so I don't want to spell out here. So what do you think that our short discussion here to you, Tuanji, least expected of you that by having this short talk can give you some satisfaction? Can you elaborate how you feel of this session?
The satisfaction that I have is, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm very passionate about talent development. Is more in terms of sharing our knowledge. When we share our knowledge, when we have got another person talking to you, in actual fact, you're also learning from that particular person. When I do this sharing of knowledge, when I'm talking to you, Tuan, I'll be able to learn a lot from you as well. The same thing for people who ask the questions. When they ask the questions, and that open up our mind for us to learn further. So the satisfaction that you have is that whenever you're able to share and we're able to contribute for the people to develop further.
Thank you. One big important key areas you just highlighted just now, the ability to listen effectively and ask the right question. Asking the right question, actually, it is a skill of a person. I mean, the question you ask suitable and really palatable to the listener. It's really acceptable because you talk with a great of appreciation. For example, when you explain something, everything you substantiate with the evidence, with your experience and whatnot. And before I end here, Tuan Haji, there's another question coming up from Samsul. Let us finish this. How does the current leaders would do in facing the future uncertainties? This one, very interesting. If Tuan Haji can share a bit, and I come in, and then I think we can stop after this.
I think what Samsul have asked is what actually we've been talking about all this while. But
yes.
To recap the whole thing, what
yes.
the current leaders would do in facing the future uncertainties is for current leaders to get rid of their old mindset, to get rid of the current mindset of what they have done before by having to be more agile for them to look forward. That is point number one. Point number two, for the current leaders to beginning to realize that, hey, I can't all the time provide the solution. How could I invite and empower my people to give me and listen to whatever the suggestion that they give? So these are the key things for them to have, and open up our mind, open up our eyes, open up our ears. And I like what you are saying just now, Shakir.
Yeah.
Listening is one of the most important things. One thing that I've seen, I continue to see that whenever we go for any particular meeting, I think you will see that, be it at a board meeting or whatever council meeting, you can see there are people who love to hear their own voices. They love to hear their own voices. They love to talk and talk and talk and talk, but they do not listen to others. They do not allow others to give the views as well. So listening is very important. Listen to others, listen to ourselves, listen to the environment. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Tuan Haji, more or less you have wrapped up what we have said just now earlier. And the question being asked, Samsul, it is something that to tell us that what you just spelled out just now, it covered the whole thing that we discussed about 45 minutes or so. So what I can gather here, the new thing that I learned from here, the more you give, the more you get. So when we are doing the sharing, two things are happening. Listen effectively, listen with understanding, listen to appreciate what is given by others to us. Indirectly, whatever given to you, but you to us, this is some opening to us. So more or less in our discussion, it forms some sort, like we call it, mind openness. And how to overcome the uncertainties is by having this mental growth, what I call a growth mindset. If we have a fixed mindset, we cannot be growing because we feel that we have completed. When you kata you dah tahu semua, then no need, we cannot learn. I mean, we will be outdated because we need to update knowledge, skill every now and then. Because skills embedded from capability, filtered to capacity. That's why we got competencies. So in order to improve the competencies, we must try way to develop our capability. Our capability is combined by the two elements. That is our social emotional, how we make meaning of the world. Number two is sense making, how we make use of our logic. Once we balance logical thinking with social emotional, we allow to be open and welcome the changes. And what we need to do now, we cannot change what is changing coming, how to manage the change. So the whole thing we are discussing here put us really on a real alert area, especially in this area that we are having these uncertainties in the world. To overcome the uncertainties, we cannot, is that focus on certain area and find a way how to manage the uncertainty. With this, Tuan Haji, ucapkan ribuan terima kasih. Sebelum saya cakap ni, Tuan Haji Wahab for precious, this is appreciation by coach. This guy is a coach, Doctor. Dia ni adalah former Samsul, former lecturer, usahawan, now as coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Samsul,
for your precious sharing experience and knowledge. So those who I managed to attend now is very fortunate because susah nak dapat. Please share this recording to your friend, and inshallah I will load into my YouTube. So Tuan Haji, you can follow my YouTube. My YouTube, Shakir Mustafa Master Coach. Ada more than 130 topics relevant to coaching, relevant to industry, and relevant to keusahawanan dan sebagainya. So thank you very much, Tuan Haji. I hope what I'm talking here, I am a new person, a young person, we lack of knowledge. I need more learn. I need to learn more from you, Tuan Haji. So I welcome
we learn from each other.
Inshallah, I will invite you coming soon because who knows? Because by sharing like this, there are many people start to come in, but we are going to end. They are coming in. Never mind, we have to stop now because Tuan Haji is what I here to do. Tuan Haji, thank you very much. Your time is very precious. Not only precious to you, more precious to us. We welcome for the next time.
I would like to meet this Samsul one of these days.
Inshallah. So Samsul, get ready. All right. Or I will invite him also, Tuan Haji, come in to discuss also. Yes, right. I will come invite a few others and few other maybe lecturers or professors to discuss. Tuan-tuan dan puan, saya ucapkan terima kasih Tuan Haji. Terima kasih kepada sahabat-sahabat yang datang ni semua. And see you again next time. Terima kasih Tuan Haji. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Tuan Haji, you can stay on. Hold on.
Should I leave now?
Not chat. Because saya sudah silap sikit. Where